Hey guys, I'm here with Jose Hernandez with SoCal Design and Renovation. He is a great client of Mesa Fund Control. We think super highly of him. He does great quality work. He knows how to manage budgets. He knows how to build. He knows how to do it all. And we just love working with him. But I thought we'd get out to one of his job sites and kind of take a look at it and really get some boots on the ground and talk about really how these places come together and what this is all about, kind of the ins and outs of what he does when he's driving nails and when he's hanging lumber and putting stuff in these places. Thanks for coming out here, Jose. Appreciate it, man.
Of course, man. Well, thanks for the opportunity to show you kind of what we do on a day-to-day. You know, it's not the TV show where you show up and it's just, you know, lights, camera, action, drywall, painted, everything. Like this is how it starts.
Right.
This is the foundation of getting things going, getting a home going, new construction, ADUs, whatever you'd like to do.
Totally.
And it's nice you can come by today and check this out, man.
So, hey, one question I had for you, you touched on something there. Yeah. How long does it take to get, let's say, a single family home like this out of the ground from start to finish? Like, so from the time you say, if I call you and I say, hey, Jose, I want to build my dream house. How long is it going to take me to get from A to B?
I mean, the first part is actually the structure, the layout, the design. That really can take anywhere from, hey, 2 weeks, very simple ADU, to where, like you had mentioned, this is my dream home. For that, we'd like to take 2 to 3 months. So before we actually submit to the city, and it's kind of in their hands at that point. But right now, for what it's taking in 2025, we're looking at about 6 to 8 months before we can even break ground and start construction. And then depending on 6,000 square foot dream home, it depends on the size. But from there, I mean, I'd calculate anywhere from a lower end, you know, 1,200 square foot to being 3 more months to 6,000 square foot to being another 8 to a year.
18 months.
So maybe, I would say about 18 months to a year, or to 2 years to really get that.
And me as a client, I have to be a good steward of that. I have to like give decisions to the architect who's designing it. We got to make quick decisions. All that stuff will help with speeding up that process, I would imagine.
100%. The communication, the quick turnaround time as to, hey, these are our changes. What do you think? You got to turn around it quick. If not, that's gonna, that week that you take, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, can just really delay, because our architect also has other projects that they're doing, right? So those come in, whoever answers quickest takes that lead and takes it from there. So yes, cooperation from the client is number one. It allows us to speed it up and get the project as quickly as possible.
No, that makes total sense. Now you guys are East County, or you're pretty much building all over San Diego County, aren't you?
All over San Diego County. We specialize in East County, La Mesa, El Cajon, but San Diego City, County. I mean, we do it all. But we love East County. That's where we live, you know? Understand that's, you know, your hometown as well too. So we like to keep it here, but we branch out anywhere, man. We specialize in all cities.
Awesome. We've been to a number of your projects and love them. Always a clean job site, and it's awesome. So when you're building a place like this, and obviously, you know, one of the things La Mesa does is we come out and we do inspections and make sure the work's getting performed and making sure that we're paying you for work that actually has been performed, and you're a great steward of that. So Jose's draw requests always come in, they're to the T. He's always got his backup documentation. He's always got his lien waivers, always got his invoices dialed in. You know, and we know that when we come out and look at one of these places, you're not going to invoice for stuff that hasn't been done. But like, what are some of the nuances of a place like this that's got these big, massive beams in it? How do you even hang these things? How does that happen? So,
well, this is a very special home. I mean, we don't have these beams everywhere, but we got, you know, 12-foot ceilings here. We got these massive beams, you know, 6 by 18 inches, you know, engineered wood. Like, these beams don't take 6, 7 bodies. They take, you know, 2 big machines that will, you know, automatically jack these up.
You're not, these aren't guys lifting these things.
We don't have 3, 7, 8-foot giants that are just kind of leaning on their shoulder. No. We rely on equipment and machinery for that. We budget for that, but that's the stuff that you need to accomplish a job like this. A lot quicker, and it's done correctly.
You bet. Obviously, you have county inspections that come in as well. So what happens when you go through a county inspection versus, you know, just one of our draw inspections? Like, what do the county guys look for?
So very similar to your inspections, honestly. It's not too far off. I mean, the city inspector, county inspectors will come and they'll make sure if we're saying, hey, there's levels to it, there's rough, right? Always rough first. If it comes to
so rough
concrete,
electrical, rough
electrical, drywall, framing. We like to get all that done first while it's nice and open and call them out one time. So it's kind of like a combo inspection where we get it all done. So we're not calling them out until all this is done. So for example, here, the real only inspections we had was grading, framing for foundation, rebar, before we can pour the slab. So that's our first inspection. We pour, and then we start to build. Once we start to build, we get electrical in here, plumbing, and then we come out and have that combo inspection. That passes, and then from there, it's, insulation. Insulation passes, and then drywall. So there's just a few big calendar marks for that and inspection. And like you guys, it's the same way I invoice for you guys is before I call them out, it's like, hey, I'm gonna get an inspection for framing. Let me get La Mesa Fund Control in here as well, so we can get the release on that.
You bet, you bet it. So it's really good.
You guys do really well.
Oh, thanks, man. But so it's really, you get one phase done, you call out, they sign off on it, boom, you're kind of rolling right through those different phases after those inspectors sign off on those cards.
And they don't let us move on until we get that signature. So we kind of, we have to do them.
So you got to have a good relationship with these inspectors.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we know most of them. I know most of them already, so it's nice. And when they come to your project, they kind of already know that you're getting the job done right, and you're not cutting corners. It's a level of respect and trust you have to build with them, through time. But I mean, you get that new inspector that you got to build with, but we do everything by book. We do it by code. We take our time on it. We communicate. That rapport with them is special. Like you said, it's important because at the end of the day, they're the ones that check mark if you move on. So we don't want to pause because that could take some time away from our schedule and our deadlines.
I have a question for you. This is kind of an interesting thing. So oftentimes there's changes. You get a homeowner who her original fireplace was only going to be 4 feet wide, and she goes, honey, I really want a fireplace that's 6 feet wide. And then they got to come talk to you. So what happens when there's change orders like that? Like, what do you do?
I'm glad you brought that up because it happens a lot more than you think, man. It happens often. The way we take those is, again, we start from the beginning of the project with a rapport and good communication with our clients. You have to. We get comfortable with each other. We let them know we're here. We allow them to trust us and build in their dream home, right? Or their granny flat for their grandmother. Or anything that we have to build for them.
Whatever they're doing.
That report. So in that sense, when that comes up, and it does come up often, we have a conversation. We say, hey, per plan, this is what we got. If it's something where we can just throw up a few different pieces of lumber, just to get it smaller. If we have to change the whole scheme of the foundation and the framing of it, then it's, hey, this is where the change orders come in. We write down what it's going to cost for material, labor, and give them that change order. And for the most part, that communication, if you're just bringing it up, and talking to them and sitting, they understand. When they see the change and it's a little bit out of their budget, then it might be like, you know what, we're gonna have to leave it the way it is, honey. That's what we wanted before. So the compromise has to, stay there.
So it can be a change with the budget, and it can be a change with the plans. So it could be twofold, where you've got to go back in and get something else signed off with the city or the county to say, hey, we want to expand the size of our fireplace, and so you got to get that signed off.
So two things. On the structural part, if there is a structural change within a home, like if we're completely removing this whole wall and open up this whole space, then yes. If it's something, the closet's too small and we can just increase it a little bit more, nothing structural, then that's something that we could do out in the field.
It's an as-built.
It's an as-built, yes. And depending on the inspectors, like I said, if you have the report, you can talk to them. They're usually okay with things like that, that aren't a major structural change.
Explain that a little more. Let's dive into that. This is a really important concept in construction. Construction is all over the board, and there's constantly moving parts. And so, when you take something from a set of plans to an actual structure, there's always going to be slight nuances. And so that's really what those as-built are. So it was drawn like this, but the reality is this piece of wood was supposed to be 4 inches. It actually has to be 6 inches because of this beam. It's called an as-built, right?
And it happens many times out on the field. You'll get the architects and engineers that put this together. But then you get the builders. You get the people out in the field where you're like, hey, they put this 6x18 beam, but it only has 4-inch, studs. Like, how's that gonna work? You know, so we have to work at that on the field. The builders, we talk to the architects, we get them to do a quick change. And it's just a change within the plans. It doesn't affect the timelines. It's just something that we have to change to let the city know that the engineer has approved that, and we're good to go. And as far as anything that's not structural and more design, like I said, if we wanted to, for example, this fireplace, make it a little smaller to fit maybe a more slimmer line insert, then we just put some more wood, and we can do that without really letting them know, because they don't care too much on the design part.
Right.
It's more on the structural integrity of the home.
Sure. And you might end up saving a client some money.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Does that happen very often?
Very rare. but it does happen. You know, that's where they rely on you. You know,
Sure.
and if it's like, hey, we've increased our closet, you know, double the size, but we need to save a little bit more. Where can we allocate that and move that? And it's like, hey, well, your appliance here was going to be $10,000.
Yes.
Now, if we go a little smaller, build that out, we don't need to do any changes.
Yeah.
Now you're half the price.
Or
so they're able to move the money around.
Or let's eliminate the custom cabinets in the bathrooms. Let's leave the custom cabinets in the kitchen, and let's do some more standard stuff in the bathrooms, and we can save some money there.
Something more prefab is an option. And again, that's where we step in as professionals. Our clients trust us in that sense to not just keep on marking up and changing up. It's like, hey, we understand the budget. Let's figure out how we can move that around. We have this here, but like you had mentioned, let's change these cabinets to more prefab. Allows you to keep that money in the kitchen and make it grand. But we're moving the money to where it's still the same concept, same design, but just a little bit more cost effective.
That's one of the things I'm going to tell you I've seen with Jose, and he brings his wife in, and they have exceptional taste when it comes to designing places. We'll profile one of the projects that he did that we were involved in the fund control on, where it was a burnout in La Mesa, California, and this place was destroyed. And Jose came in and rebuilt the whole place. And the design elements you put into that place, you know, and balancing the budget at the same time, you were able to really maximize the look and feel and just the overall appearance of this place while making sure that your budget was in check as well. And that was something that I was super impressed with. So that's not a skill that every contractor has. And that's unique. That's very unique. So
I appreciate it. It's tough. It's tough. And then when you have, for example, my wife is the designer within our company, we kind of put heads together. I'm the contractor, the builder. She's like, hey, let's do this. I'm like, no, we can't. You know, and we go back and forth on that, but we're good to a point where we can really just dial it in, like you had mentioned, work with different materials that can give us still that wow and that effect and that, you know, that wow factor I was saying, but still keep it within budget.
It's cost effective.
Cost effective.
Looks great, but it doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
100%.
100%. That's a really, really important piece, especially when you're doing remodels and most people have a budget that they're working within and they don't want to blow that budget. So budgets are super important. I know in the fund control world, budgets are like crucial. So
that's your number.
Unless
something drastically changes, you guys are pretty good on, hey, this is where we're at.
Or the lender has approved, you know, this is their construction money, here's what they've got, and that's all they got to work with. So those budgets are really, really important as they go forward. Talk about the market right now. What are you seeing in the market? What are you seeing shifts taking place? I've noticed that it seems like material prices have sort of leveled off. We're not seeing these massive spikes in material supplies or in material prices. You're able to get material now at this point. There's not the supply chain issues, but labor. That's one of the things that we're seeing is labor's still pretty inflated. I mean, the price to get good quality guys and your subcontractors or the guys that are working for you, that's not coming down, is it?
It's not, no. So pre-COVID, everything obviously was a lot more cost effective. You can pay the guys still well, constant work, staying busy, and that was fine. With COVID, it kind of just inflated everything, you know, materials, just everything just in life, I think, as far as products, anything that you wanted to get kind of just jacked everything up. So people need to make more money, right? They need to make more money.
They got to survive.
They got to survive, which is understandable. You know, the way we transitioned that was if we got to pay our guys, the good guys that we want to keep that we've had for so long, we have to pay them well.
And your guys are good. Your guys are good.
Thank you.
They're good.
It's taken a while, you know, it's taken years, but we've built a really good team. We have good subcontractors, good guys on the field, our everyday guys, and we had to pay them more, right? So in that sense, it comes down to communication. We have to communicate that to the client and saying, hey, this is where we're at. We're not just saying this. You know, you can research yourself. A 2x4 used to be $2 something. Now it's $6, $7, $8. Like it's just wild. And they're not everywhere, right? It has controlled a little bit more to where we can get the product a lot quicker, a lot easier, like it used to, but it's still, it hasn't gone up, but it's still pretty stagnant where it's at.
It's not coming down.
Yeah, it's not coming down. I'll tell you that. It's not coming down. So paying the guys well, communicating that to the client, let them know, hey, our price per square foot or whatever it is, depends on the contract that we're doing, has gone up. But we bring that quality, we bring the schedules, we bring, you know, we bring the whole package, the design to where if they understand that, they're willing to trust you and pay that.
And you're helping them with the design elements that are still making it look great, but saving some money on the other side.
And that's the other thing that we could do as well. Is like, hey, this rough, and the not so beautiful stuff that no one ever really sees has gone up, and your materials, your finished materials has gone up as well. Let's think about the design a little differently, and we can accomplish this using this price per square foot a little cheaper, but still give you that look and keep you within budget.
Now, you guys are obviously doing ground up construction, you're doing renovations, you're doing ADUs. What are you seeing the most of right now? What are you seeing the most demand? You know, your phone rings. What are you seeing right now? What are most people calling for?
So after COVID, it was a lot of renovations, right? It was a lot, hey, we're at home and we want a new kitchen and we want new floors.
Yeah, they're stuck in their house and they're like,
2020, 21, 22 is like, everybody was remodeling their homes. Right now at this time, as of like last year, people have they're still doing that, but not as much and more focused on the ADUs. The conversions of the garages, right? A JADU adding to the home because now they've already either maximized or already renovated their house and it's like, all right, cool, how can I maximize my space? And price per square foot on lot. So they're doing that a lot more. I'm seeing a lot more builds, new builds, ADUs. You get these people that have had these pieces of land for quite a while. And it's like, hey, we've already done what we're doing, so let's build now. A lot of new builds are coming up. That's what I'm seeing. Those are the phone calls I'm getting.
It's good for us. We need that fund control business coming in. That's good.
Like, hey, call fund control, and anytime we get a project, as you know, is we funnel it through you guys. It's just, it's more structured, it's easier. The client feels comfortable. You know, they're not dishing out, here you go, contractor that I barely met, you know, here's X amount of dollars. It's now, hey, it's going to somewhere where it's secured and safe. And you guys are monitoring how you guys are releasing.
Totally. Well, that's really good to hear. Good to hear that there's good activity in the marketplace. We're certainly feeling it. I think there's a lot of momentum right now. There's still a tremendous lack of inventory out there.
There is.
And so people are looking for ways to improve their houses, build ADUs, generate additional income from these ADUs. I mean, that's a big piece. We're seeing a lot of that too.
Oh yeah. So that comes down to maximizing kind of your square footage and what you already have. Because everything else out there, including lot and lands, they're just up there.
That's it.
So
well, I was meeting with a banker probably 6 or 8 weeks ago, and he was talking about statistically, you know, in the United States, and just talking about the United States across the board, but this is, you know, it's obviously everywhere. But he said that 70% of the residential properties out there have debt on them. So 30% are free and clear, 70% have debt. But 90% of that debt is sub 3.5% interest rate. So what that tells you, and he said, there's so many people that are just locked into these homes. They're not going anywhere. They've got low interest rate debt. They don't want to get rid of it because it's valuable. They can't move. They can't downsize. So what do? They're going to add an ADU, or they're going to renovate their house, but they're staying. So we're seeing a lot of that.
I believe it, man. I believe I've heard it as well. It's exactly what you're saying. I'm like, that's true. Let's build on what we have now and just maximize that.
So people aren't selling. So I think there's great opportunity for brand new construction, and there's going to be demand for it, and renovations and ADUs. I think you're in a good spot.
You know, I feel like it. When we get those phone calls, you know, even with you guys, you know, learning that it is busy. You know, the person that I referred is calling you, and we're getting this going. Like it's good to hear that everyone's working as a team and trying to take care. At the end of the day, the end goal is the client and taking care of them.
Totally. I have a question for you, because you're a client of ours, but how does fund control help you? And how does it help you in the business? I mean, obviously it's a step you have to go through to actually obtain money and get paid for the work, but how does it help you?
For me, the way it helps is when I have a client and trusting them, we get back to with a lot of money, right?
Sure.
So my thing is, hey, don't just entrust in me that you're going to just give me money.
So don't just give you the money.
Don't just give me the money. No. We have this company called the Mesa Fund Control. They will look after your money and they will release as progress is happening. So now you're not feeling that you gave a ton of money, and it happens, and I hear it all the time. Something happened to the contractor. I don't know what happened, and he just disappeared. And took half the budget. And now you're with this and you have to finish it, but you have no budget.
That's so
right. And La Mesa Fund Control gives them that trust, that
peace of mind,
peace of mind that, hey, you know what? You're not going to get taken for that. You're not going to get taken for that. So that for me is always the way I kind of, I don't want to say win them over, but more.
It's a selling point.
Yeah, it's a selling point. And like, okay, cool. Like we didn't even know about that. Like that exists.
Yes.
Like we thought we just had to cut you a check and you're gone. You know,
most people don't know.
And it happens a lot, man. So it's nice that that's my selling point. You know, to my client is, hey, don't trust me, but also trust them. Look them up, talk to Marcus, talk to, you know, Holly, whoever they need to talk to, and understanding what they really do. And it's a full package, man.
Sure.
It's a full package. So for the selling point part, but then also in the project, it helps me budget, man. It helps me budget.
Good point.
So it helps me budget well. It helps me know that, all right, cool, I'm gonna buy all the framing and not just buy everything to be there. And it's like, you know, I need some more money. Like I'll budget, all right, framing, let me get this done. You know, fund control, I need an inspection, release that, and I'm just getting that back. And it just kind of keeps me flowing, keeps me going, and keeps me staying on budget within myself and the project as well.
And you know what you've got in each line item, you know what money's allocated there. If you need to move money around within that budget, you can do it. We work with you on a lot of that stuff.
Which is awesome too. There's sometimes where, you know, budgets, the lumber might be a little bit more expensive, drywall's a little cheaper. And like you had mentioned, hey, I'm just, you know, this is where the market's at right now, but we're gonna make it up on this. And we just kind of move that around. You guys are awesome at doing that. So yeah, you guys definitely want the contractor to succeed as well. It's a full on, hey, we're protecting the client customer, but we also want the contractor to succeed and move things well. And you guys are there to work with us, which is awesome.
Well, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. It is trust from the client standpoint. It's transparency. Everybody knows where the money's going and where it's getting allocated. And then we're verifying that the actual work has actually been completed before the money gets dispersed. So I just think it benefits everybody involved.
I agree.
And lenders have been using it for 50 years. And so, you know, the lending community is very accepting of fund control. We need more consumers to be aware of it.
We definitely do.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
So cool. Well, super appreciative of you coming out here and spending the time with us. Like I said, you're a great client of ours, Jose. We really appreciate you, man. And if you got a client out there, or we have a client out there, or somebody wants to get a hold of you and bid one of their projects, or they got a new house to build or an ADU, how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way to do it? I mean, they can call me. I can give them your number. But how do they get a hold of you?
So I mean, a lot of what we're doing right now and for the past 7 years has been referrals. You know, it's been referrals.
Yeah, I can see that.
We're definitely working, and we're seeing the market that it is calling for a lot of new construction, which is what we want to be involved in, kind of our main focus. So we're working on the LinkedIns right now and the websites to get those up and running, which I'll give that to you once that's up and running. It should be, we're almost there. It's in the next week or so. We're working also on a lot of marketing on videos and stuff that we've created, so we can kind of just pump it out all at the same time, and it's not blank. But I do have my phone number, which everyone calls me, and I do have my website or my email. Sorry.
Say what that is. Tell us what that is right now.
It's Jose at SoCal-design.com. You can email me, or phone number is area code 619-592-5127. Give me a phone call, give me a message, leave me a voicemail, whatever it is, and I get back to you pretty quickly. We can start from there. And as websites, you know, if you guys want a referral, you know, I can send you guys one, or I can, you know, show you some of our projects that we have done.
I just some addresses that he's done too. I mean, you can plug the addresses in and they come up on Zillow or Trulia or some of those sites, and you can see with the photos what he's done and what he's capable of building. We're going to profile the one in La Mesa, which is just killer. So we're going to get that one going.
That was a good one. That was fun.
That was awesome. Great project, man. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it, brother. Always
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, good stuff. So, all right.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.